Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jake Silver Show, episode 4. Our president, Joe Biden, is officially cooked. His brain is melting. It's an aging Swiss. It's filled with such decay that he belongs in a memory care facility. He belongs in an old folks' home, specializing in memory care. His brain cannot even remember the last time he took a shit. It can't remember the last time that he had a glass of water. He can't remember when his own son died. He can't remember when he was vice president. He probably can't remember a simple question that was just asked to him. But hey, he's still running. He's running for re-election. I'm going to vote for him. Are you? He's cooked. He's sous vide. He's seared. He's reverse seared, sous vide seared. He's slow cooked. He's flambéed. He's sautéed. He's deep fried. He is so past anybody who should even be considered to be our president. But hey, I'm sure he'll get some votes come election time. Most popular president ever, right? But former president Donald Trump, apparently he's outraged over Biden not being charged with his mishandling of sensitive documents. Trump received a similar charge. Those charges still pending. He wants his charges dropped, especially. He's been vocal about that, especially since over the past few days, it's been announced that Biden won't be charged. But that's where we're at right now. A couple of presidents, one former, mishandling sensitive documents, and the current one has had his charges dropped. So Trump has said the federal classified documents case against him should be dropped after a report found evidence Joe Biden willfully retained and disclosed sensitive materials, but that the president should not face any charges. The remarks were made into response to special counsel Robert Hur's highly critical report into Biden's handling of classified materials, which was launched after Obama-era papers were found at Biden's private residence in Delaware and former office at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. in December 2022 and January 2023. Now, this 388-page report said that even if Biden weren't president, the Department of Justice wouldn't press charges against the Democrat as he cooperated fully with the investigation. Hur also said it would be hard to secure a conviction as Biden would likely present himself to a jury as sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. So we can't charge him because we won't be able to convict him. Because that's just Gramps. He's just a nice old man. He means well. He's just an old man with poor memory. He means no harm. He's just got his old Obama era papers lying around next to the golf cart. Don't mind him. He means well. Just give him a vanilla cone, and he's going to take care of you, okay? Do not question if he's fit or not for presidency. He means well. In the report, Hur said that during interviews, Biden couldn't remember when he was vice president and had to ask when his first term ended and began. The report added that Biden did not remember, even within several years, when his son Beau died of brain cancer in 2015. Like, you can't remember when your own son dies, You can't remember when your last term ended or started. I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? All right. What has been going on? But now it's like these excuses for member of the special counsel Robert Hur. His critical report states that, hey, there's no point. Hard to convict him. Sympathetic, well-meaning Joe Biden. I mean, let this at least be the mark where the Democrats say, hey, let's suspend Joe Biden's re-election campaign. That's all I'm saying. If this isn't enough to initiate that conversation, hopefully it's being had. But if someone's not eligible to be charged for their crimes, how are you eligible to be a sitting president, let alone run for a re-election of that seat? Absolutely ridiculous to me. Absolutely insane. But that's where we're at right now. Florida private school expels children of woman who promoted her OnlyFans with decal on car. Nice. I mean, that's got to be honestly, that's a genius marketing ploy right there. A Florida Christian school expelled 2 of its students this week after their porn star mother refused to take a decal sticker promoting her OnlyFans page off the back of her car. So, her kids go to a Christian school, and when she's waiting in the driveway to pick them up, she's got her OnlyFans link posted on the back window of her SUV. The divorced dad in the back, it's been a rough go for him over the past few years. And he's scrolling through his wasteland of a Facebook page. He's clicking on his high school sweetheart. He's accepting friend requests from overweight women with purple hair. And then he lights up a Marlboro Light 100 as he awaits his son to come out of this private Christian school. He lights it with matches. He doesn't have a lighter because he doesn't want to accept the fact that he's a cigarette smoker. So he doesn't buy a lighter. So he lights his Marlboro Light 100, takes a drag, ashes it out the window, sees the birds chirping. He sees the crossing guard standing there, preparing for the kids to approach. The clouds roll by. And then as he gazes to the front through his windshield, he sees an OnlyFans ad. And he thinks to himself, wow, what's that? Isn't this a Christian school? So he scans the QR code from the OnlyFans logo, curious to see whose mom is this? And yet there's hope for this man. He'll instantly subscribe. He'll pay whatever it is, the $3. He'll pay $3 a month for the first 6 months to see all of this woman. Michelle Klein, who works under the alias Piper Fawn. Nice. Piper Fawn was previously banned from bringing the vehicle onto Liberty Christian Preparatory School's campus after multiple parents raged about the perverted promotion. The school board, who used the word repent 6 times, wrote that Klein and her husband were committing a sin by filming and distributing their explicit venture, which rakes in up to $20,000 a month. I mean, how else are they supposed to put their son and daughter through this Christian private school? Like and subscribe. Like, how else? I mean, $20,000 a month. They probably barely breaking even. It's probably 6 figures to send multiple kids to this school. I respect the hustle. I don't support the avenue of the hustle. I'd rather you sell a little crack. Despite kicking her children, who are elementary and middle school age, LCP said it would consider allowing Klein to re-enroll her children in the future if she removed the decals and terminated her pornographic websites. Not going to happen. $20,000 a month. What is she going to do to replace that revenue? Apparently these videos are of her and her husband, so she's got his support. What is she going to do? Start restoring old furniture and selling it on Facebook Marketplace? Apparently she was confronted by it before, and she'd like park across the street in the morning and walk her kids onto the property to go to school. Same thing with picking them up. She'd park across. But apparently the school got upset when they noticed that the decal had not been removed, but she actually replaced it with a larger decal for her OnlyFans site, Piper Fawn. I'm sure this media attention is only going to get her more followers, subscribers, whatever you call it for OnlyFans. She needs to repent. An ex-Olympian pleads guilty to sexually assaulting boys, but the total number of victims remains unknown, the DA says. More than 4 decades after Conrad Mainwaring trained young athletes at a Massachusetts sport camp, the 72-year-old pleaded guilty this week to 14 counts of indecent assault and battery involving 9 male victims. I mean, haven't we learned, I know this happened. He's 72 years old now. This happened in the sexual assaults happened years ago, decades ago. But, if your son wants to be a gymnast, it's kind of gay. It's kind of already gay. So it's got to be the ideal avenue for these fucking predators to take. Like they're when they're in their young stage, when they're becoming a man, when they're 17, 18, 19, they're like, what career path should I take? Finance? No, I'll be working around a bunch of men. Should I get into construction? Probably not. The youngest guy there will probably be in his early 20s. No. What are they going to do? They're going to train. They're going to work at a summer camp to train young preteen boys in gymnastics. And by him securing that position, He hit the predatory jackpot. So, this is a quote from Michael Waxman, one of the victims of Conrad Mainwaring. Says he chose straight young men because he was pretty smart, he knew that we probably wouldn't talk about it because we were too ashamed to talk about it. Straight young men is a very strong group of words to use. Young, yes. Men, yes. Straight, no. I've never even met a male gymnast in real life, but I'd have to imagine if you were little and you looked at baseball and you looked at basketball, you looked at football, you looked at hockey, you even looked at soccer, and you were like, nah, pole vaulting. That's what I want to do. I want to vault those poles. I don't have a son, but if I did and he was around the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, can you pay for me to go to this summer camp where we learn all about gymnastics?" I'd already fall into a deep depression. Because right then and there, I'd know my son is a flaming homosexual. So for him to say he chose straight young men because he knew that they wouldn't talk about it because they'd be ashamed? No. How do you think he ended up here? He knew what he went through when he was an Olympian, when he was training to be an Olympian. He knew what environment it was. I mean, look at the guy, you guys remember Larry Nassar? The guy who was, I think, wasn't he a doctor? He was like a doctor or something for the young female gymnast. Fondled them, like a dozen of them or more. He got shanked up in prison. Probably what's going to happen to this guy, but it's such a toxic environment. I mean, you got to be careful with who you let babysit your kids. So to hear that your super straight young male son wants to go to fucking tumble camp, like, come on, bro. You already know he's got a little sugar in the tank. You gotta already know. If not, you're just in denial. Or you're letting your fucking wife convince you otherwise. Oh, keep an open mind. He's expressing himself. He's exploring. He's young. Men can be gymnasts too. No. They can, they shouldn't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. If you're a man and you find yourself wanting to fucking be a gymnast, go lift some weights. Go get strong or something. Like, so Mainwaring, he formed what he called the Squad, touted as the best athletes at camp, and he would work out with them about 1 hour before anybody else was awake. According to Waxman, he said everyone wanted to be on the Squad. I'm sure they did. They wanted to get those early morning reps in. Mainwaring would say, I'm going to ask you to do things that are uncomfortable, that are socially frowned upon, and you're going to show me you can do those things. And that's going to prove that you have the mental strength that you need. And he says a lot of them fell for it. This is also why it's key to expose your kids to people, to more fucked up situations. I mean, I know when I was 13 years old, if a guy came up to me and said, hey, I'm going to ask you to do some things that are socially frowned upon. I mean, by the time I was 13, granted, I was already smoking weed on the weekends. But even then, a grown man even getting close to me was weird. So for your leader to give you this disclaimer prior to whatever further instruction he gave you, I would immediately have been like, hey. I would have been on the phone calling my dad like, this motherfucker's trying to touch my butt. Like, it's hard to say these things can be avoided, but I mean, parents by now should be more analytical in their children's interests according to their gender, obviously. So, gotta blame the parents in this case. Among those tasks, he masturbated me. I masturbated him on the occasion. He kissed me open mouth kisses. Maine Waring is pleading guilty to 14 counts or instances of sexual assault involving 9 male victims who were between 13 and 19 years old at the time. As part of his plea deal, he was sentenced to 10 to 11 years in prison. Yeah. I mean, you gotta see the signs. It's 2024 now, so, I mean, it's not the 1970s or 80s whenever this happened. But, I mean, if you care, if your son goes up to you and says, hey, this is what I want to do, I want to be a gymnast, reroute him. Fucking say, oh, okay, that's cool. Hey, you know what's really close to being a gymnast? Joining the Marines. Like, fucking, I mean, he could be gay there too. But I'd say he's a lot less likely to be at least sexual assaulted by his leaders. He might get involved in a little butt sex with a fellow Marine, but that's at that point it's on him. But 13-year-olds being taken advantage of your camp instructor who's just trying to make you better. No. Fuck that. Fuck that. So you guys remember in Ohio a year ago when one of the train derailments happened, but this is probably the worst one. East Palestine, Ohio. Bunch of toxic chemicals spilled out during this train derailment. Well, our president, our lovely, well-fit president, Joe Biden, said he's to travel to East Palestine to mark 1 year of train derailment. The president will travel to East Palestine, Ohio, to discuss how the administration is continuing to work with the state and local officials to hold Norfolk Southern accountable and support the community as it moves forward. That's what the White House said in an advisory Saturday. Biden's decision not to visit the site until now had become a subject of persistent questioning by reporters at the White House, as well as among residents in East Palestine. Some residents have said that they felt forgotten as time passed, and they watched the president fly to the scenes of other disasters, including the wildfires on the Hawaiian island of Maui and hurricanes in Florida. I mean, I'm pretty sure the administration said that they were going to visit the site Like, after it happened, they were like, oh, we're just waiting for things to get figured out and kind of settle down. But they kind of gave it the window of like 3 months after the incident, or even sooner than that. Like, oh, the president's coming. He cares about you. No, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He's literally only going now to check it off the list, just to say he went a whole entire year later. So, I mean, that just goes to show you how much he really cares. And honestly, when Biden hears East Palestine, he thinks he's going to fucking the Middle East. He thinks he's going near the Gaza Strip. He's like, East Palestine? Oh, good, we need to go there. Like, probably has no idea where he is. He's questioning why the flight was so short. Like, 1 whole year later, fucking Trump would have been there a week later in a hazmat suit. UK cops watched Netflix lifted weights at missing woman's home. Quote, not very professional. I mean, at least they made solid use of their downtime. They got some gains in. Caught up on Love on the Spectrum. Like, what else are they supposed to do while they're waiting for this woman? It says 2 police officers working the case of a missing British woman were caught lounging on her couch and watching Netflix, according to a report. Surveillance footage shows the Greater Manchester cops enjoying some downtime in Abigail Lawton's Wigan home while she was experiencing a mental health crisis. One of the officers was even seen using her dumbbell set to get in some... One of the officers was even seen using her dumbbell set to get in some reps while his partner seemingly scrolled on his phone. So you got another guy just trying to set a new PR. And the other guy is just, he's swiping left and right on Tinder. Recently divorced police officer. He's just trying to get a little rebound in. And now this girl's got her little camera set up in her apartment. And while she's having her mental health crisis, she looks at her little camera and goes, hey, what are these cops doing in my home? They're doing what they want. You know what they should have did? They should have fucking slept there. They should have made some food. They should have did some arts and crafts or whatever they wanted. I mean, apparently, the cops were ordered to remain on the property in case Lawton returned, while other officers conducted a wider search for the missing woman. And her complaint was, oh, the last time this happened, the cops searched my apartment, and then they waited in their cruiser for the remainder of the time. So this isn't like a first time incident for this woman. This is like a repeating affair for her. So pretty sure the cops knew that. They were told to wait there. So they decided waiting there meant just remaining in the property in case she came back home, tried to prevent her from harming herself or anything. But she was reportedly booked for wasting police time and held in custody for 12 hours. And then upon her release, she files a complaint with the police department because she saw the footage of them chilling out in her apartment while she was gone. Probably away fucking doing fentanyl or some shit. But hopefully those fucking cops don't get any backlash, because that's just a bunch of bullshit. I mean, all they did was lift weights and watch Netflix while they waited for her to see if she was coming home, to keep her safe. So could have been way worse. I mean, 2 British cops, they could have They could have butt fucked right there on the couch on camera. So now you need a new couch, Abigail. There was one last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. It happened in Colorado. I didn't hear about this because I think this story broke out later last year. But the report says 189 dead bodies found rotting in Colorado after a couple who offered eco-friendly funeral services spent all the money on cars, trips, and crypto. Got all that Dogecoin, all that shitcoin. The bodies were left in an unrefrigerated room infested by bugs. It gets worse. The remains the families received was allegedly just bags of mixed concrete and not the actual ashes. What a shitty drug dealer. When authorities searched the property, the floor was filled with the liquid of human decomposition. Holy shit. The couple, John and Carrie Halford, are both facing more than 200 charges and will be arraigned in March. Wow. How did this even happen? I mean, I haven't read into the story. I literally just found out about it. But these people run a funeral home, and do they not even have incinerators? Like, why are you keeping these fucking bodies? Let alone putting them in an unrefrigerated room. I mean, they found 189 dead bodies. Eco-friendly. Just another piece of evidence why going green is just not the move. Don't get cremated. Get buried. Get buried, all right? Your body shall be renewed. Don't destroy it. Bury me. Bury me in Louis. This also goes to show even more reasons why I fucking hate Colorado, but I'll digress on that. Just another wacky fucking liberal fucking couple. This guy kind of looks like Andrew Schultz. Like old Andrew Schultz. But that's all I got for you for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed episode number 4, I got many more to come. Appreciate your time. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you guys very soon. Have a good one.